As you guys know, this is Ray Baker. This is Stephen Mass. These are my two coaches. If you could tell the story of how we met and then how we kind of came together.
My memory is always knowing you from the gym.
Yeah.
Because we were always comfortably acquainted at the gym. Like, we would say, "What's up?"
Yeah.
Like, "Come up." Like,
yeah. I saw you training other athletes, and I was like, who is this guy with the long hair that everyone's talking about?
But Ray was getting more into the posing with you first.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
It was the posing.
Yeah.
How Ray got
but this is still even prior to that. Like, my memory of knowing you was maybe even before that national show.
Before Coop Club.
Maybe even before.
Yeah,
Coop
before
Club.
it was at the old Destination
Old
Dallas.
Destination.
You know, you saw me when I was first starting to try and lift, and I was looking at all the bodybuilders in the gym, thinking I could do it too.
But the energy was still awesome. Like,
Yeah.
you brought such awesome energy. It would be you and Ford all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you'd be coming in with the tights.
Yeah.
Colorful and just wild. Like,
Yeah.
movie star-esque.
Yeah.
But then we were always cool, like always saying hello, even though I didn't really even know you.
Yeah, we respected each other as a coach and an athlete in a sense. We could see that the light in each other in a sense. And then after that Miami show, where I felt like I really botched the posing, like I didn't do great with my presentation. You know, that's where we added Ray to the team, and we really started to bond. And he started to do all my posing. And Universe, that was a big difference. Was the posing flow that changed from being robotic to more flowing. And maybe talk about that, what you saw in the beginning with my posing and what we were able to transform.
Yeah, I think it was really just comfort with your posing, confidence with your posing, you understanding that you were good at posing at that point. Because I think prior to that, I don't feel you were bad at posing. I just feel there was a lot of discomfort in what was going on, and that's kind of what we've been finding the whole time working together. Is just I'm understanding where I can bring you that is strong and comfortable.
Yeah,
and it aligns with your psyche and aligns with your body. And that's what I think we've been creating ever since. But that early one, it almost affects me a little bit because of how much better things are now.
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't I just teach it that way? It was just a process of getting to know each other and how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe Stephen, you talk on a lot of people wonder, how does the nutrition aspect work? For a competitor going into these shows, we've now had like over 6 shows together.
Yeah.
What's been the difference, or what can you talk on when it comes to a nutrition perspective of our approach in general?
Well, I mean, I guess there isn't really a specific deal that you do. It's not a specific formula. It's different every time.
Yeah.
It really is. Your body's different every time.
It has been.
The traveling is different every time.
The traveling's different every time. You got a whole nother life outside of bodybuilding that puts different demands on you that we have to cater to.
Yeah.
So
it's never been cookie cutter.
No.
And we truly do have to cater to it. Because even with your training, it's like, okay, well, I get Tony this week, and then I get him for 2 days next week, and then I get him for 3 days the week after that. So what do we have to work on? Because it can't be just what it falls on that day. It needs to be what he needs to work on.
Yeah.
So how do we align that? It's always a little bit different.
Yeah. And then we get in a lot of... Here's the thing, is the nutrition's never been 100%. We've never done this at 100%.
Yeah.
Ever. We've done a lot in a very short amount of time. We made it to the biggest stage in the world. From your first amateur show to the 2 biggest stages in the world, the Arnold and the Olympia last year. But we've never executed at 100% because we don't have that luxury to, right? We don't have luxury to sleep in and play video games and take naps during the day. And
it'd be different.
You run a big company and your demands are different, so we have to cater to that. And a lot of it, I mean, even a lot of times during prep, Tony's on the move all the time. He's taking some things into his own hands.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to fast today.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a day of fasting in.
I'm going to throw 2 more rounds of cardio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was times that we got up to doing like 2+ hours of cardio a day just to catch up.
Yeah.
From the travel.
But it's things that he'll take on. He'll decide it himself.
Yeah.
And that's where it's also like, I know now after all these years, it's like, I'm not going to really tell him otherwise. I'm going to let him do what he wants to do in a sense, because it's what is going to make him more comfortable doing things. He's going to feel better internally about what he's doing if he's just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to execute it, just go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to battle. I'm not going to battle
For
him on
sure.
that.
Or a good conversation about why he's making that choice and then other alternatives.
Yeah.
Like if the option is there for that conversation to understand the alternatives to where they're, because like you said, like how he feels about it really matters. Like something that I've always understood about you is like when you see something, like when you envision something, for that vision to change course, it has to be for true reasons, like reasons that you embody.
Yeah.
If you don't, if
I don't feel it in my heart,
if you don't feel it and there's no conversation about it, if there's no true understanding about it, then there's no veering off that vision, and you start disconnecting from anyone discussing anything otherwise.
Yeah.
Even if it makes more sense.
We've had some of those conversations in the end, huh? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think some people would probably want insight to. I don't think it's typical for some competitors going to the biggest stages on earth to have two coaches mixing and matching and kind of blending in what we're deciding to do. Maybe talk on, both of you guys train competitors individually, and the fact that I made a decision to want to have three heads thinking about how we progress rather than just two. What has went through your mind with that, and how do you feel like we all work best together? Because I think we have a great thing with chemistry.
Yeah, I think a lot of times I catch myself outside of this group right here, when somebody has another person involved, I either catch myself, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm staying in my lane, and I don't want anyone else throwing their 2 cents in, because it will make me start thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
I think with us is a lot of times, obviously Ray trains people, but he does everyone's diets, and he's got Olympian competitors. He's at the highest level. So that it's cool that, in this situation, he's not doing the nutrition, but he's in on the nutrition.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're on the same page.
Yeah.
We're actually on the exact.
Sometimes people have two coaches. One's nutrition, one's training, and they don't really communicate to each other, and you see clashes going on.
It's
but
even
the fact that y'all can communicate those things is critical.
And when we go to the shows with you, it's like during the peak week, we're on the same. We're not talking about pull all the water out. We've been in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we're keeping water in. We're always on the same page.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody here that is very educated and experienced that I'm willing to open up to and take advice to, right?
Yeah.
So we're willing to,
work as a team.
It's cool.
Yeah.
There is no clashing.
Yeah. What do you think?
Honestly, the same thing. Like whenever Steven has had an opinion, I've truly been on the side of that opinion. And if I'm not on the side of that opinion, it really is never something that was openly discussed between all of us to start, and it was something that we already discussed in the background. And then we found something that balanced both of our opinions, and then that's when it was fun.
Because you guys both really communicate before it comes to me, in a sense, about what we're going to do.
Even before this off-season push, like we had a nice long conversation about how things were going to go down, and then bouncing ideas back and forth, and getting excited about it our own, because this is awesome for us too, even when it's just us talking. Like this is fun.
And to think, I think that's why I love the sport so much, is because we're already thinking a year and a half out from competing at the next show. I mean, to think you have to be methodical for a year and a half to go become better, to show your improvements. You can't fake this. And so I think it's beautiful that we're able to do that. Like, people are asking me, are you guys already going to compete this year in 23? I'm like, no, we're not even competing until 24, because we got a lot of work to do. And I think some people aren't willing to put in that time that they need to be patient, and they want it so fast. So maybe talk on those things, if you guys have any insight to what the plan is moving forward for us and where we need the most work.
I think, everything has to revolve around your professional life. And now you're in a position where your schedule's not going to be quite as hectic. And we especially, we know you've never been 100%. We've never reached your potential.
Yeah.
We've never given any part of anything 100%. Not because we don't want to, but just because we haven't had the luxury to. So it's a whole different ball game. And then to take a step back, like you said, is we're like, man, we're gonna just spend all this year stress free, and we're gonna focus on the big goal at the end of it, and reach our potential. And we're gonna, do the right things all year long. We're not gonna wing the diet. We're not gonna try to bulk in 6 months.
Yeah, we're gonna have a much cleaner off season than we've had in the past, where I'm just controlling all my nutrition, eating what I want in the surplus.
Yeah.
We're gonna be more controlled with our macros and what we're cognitively eating.
You're used to just like going out to a restaurant and be like, all right, I need this, I need all these calories.
And that was an interesting dynamic when I first joined in, because I am pretty strict meal plan type coach for my athletes.
Yeah.
And then when we're getting started and I'm having discussions on like what you're eating, and I remember we were training and I'm like, what do you got for lunch today? He's like, well, I'm gonna stop by here and grab some chicken and some rice, and I'm like,
cowboy chicken.
I'm like,
Cowboy chicken, that's my spot.
I was like, you don't have your fucking food? Where's your food?
Yeah.
Where's your bag? Where's your bag of food?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll get something, and then I'll stop there later, and I'll grab some food there, and then I'm gonna stop over there later, and I'm gonna, like, this is different.
Yeah.
This is real different.
Yeah.
But I understood the dynamic. I understood where it wasn't about to be a bag situation, especially at that moment in time.
Yeah.
It was going to be something where you're on the move and you need to make the best option. And
yeah. But I think we're going to approach it more like, hey, we're training to go back to the Olympia. I think that's the difference now. It's like already getting to the Arnold, getting to the Olympia, winning a pro show. It's like we can't go back and compete if we're not competing to go to the Olympia. So we have to be focused on that. It's not like we're just going to a pro show just to go to a pro show. We're thinking about going to the Olympia, and that's what we got to create.
And when, like, it was 2021 when we did all that. It was like when we were going to the Arnold and we were going to the Olympia, it was kind of like we're going to go, just to go, because we couldn't execute at 100%. We were like, I mean, in our heads in the moment, we're looking at you, we're like, okay, we're going to, we can do some damage. You just never know until the day. But it's nothing, it's always like we've never done anything at 100%. That's all I can say. So we've never done anything at 100%. And to see what can we do with time and 100% execution. It's truly going to be a whole different animal. It's a whole different animal. Yeah.
I feel we're in a place where we know your potential
Yeah.
and we know our goals. And it really isn't a spinning our wheels type thing like we've discussed before. You're not doing this because you need to. You're doing this because it's a passion and a hobby, and it's a drive for competition.
Yeah.
Like it's the animal, the masculinity, the excitement that's keeping you going. It's not, I'm trying to get a sponsor, get a free protein jug every couple months and shit like that. And then when we look at the big picture, we're real with ourselves. We go, okay, well, like in these points, you're 10, 11, 10 on a scale to 10. On these points, we're 6, 4, 3.
Yeah.
And we need to fix these points so that it is the grand finale at the end of the road, so that we are on stage, because those points are big, standing next to the best people in the world.
Absolutely.
But
everything counts.
We've also identified with ourselves as one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
So we're not going to show up any less.
Yeah.
And that's why this whole year of progress is going to be so outstanding, because normally we're in a place where we push real hard, you get huge.
Yeah. 290.
290 pounds. This man's
too fluffy.
This man's coming for legs, and every day I made a hat. I wanted to. It was comical for me. I'm like, oh, here's Tony, and I see him open the door, and then I see, and this is Tony at 290 struggling to get out of the Lamborghini.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was not fun.
No, and it would torch his back. Like it would affect our leg days because his back was messed up. Just being too heavy driving in that car, but not derailing. We didn't have much time, so that kind of push felt crucial. It felt like something that needed to happen because those were the kind of numbers that were needed to bring up the weak points in the way we envisioned them.
Yeah, for sure.
But once they were there, well, now the other issue in the room is you're 290 and we got to weigh 222.
Yeah.
So,
well, 230 now potentially because we're working on the inversion table.
Yeah.
So we've been 5'11 and a half, 6 foot. We've been right in this middle range.
We can keep it consistent.
And if we can keep working on that table,
I'm gonna wheel you in.
We can gain. we can have that half inch.
I'm gonna wheel him in on the inversion table.
Yeah, we've been stretching a lot. We've been stretching a lot for 230 because I've been
hydrating
working
those
on that.
discs. But so ideally 230. But even that's in the sense of then, we still have to get back down. And on that path back down, those areas that we brought up to 7s and 8s and 9s start scaling themselves back down. Yeah. And then we start trying to compensate for it.
Yeah.
And this realm, instead of us blowing up, like you're still going to gain weight, you're still big already.
Yeah.
But instead of reaching a 290, we're going to be able to chill and put on a pound or two a week.
Better body composition.
And focus on our initial goals.
Yeah.
And we have an entire year, maybe year and a half to accomplish this. And once we get on stage, it'll be that slow transition from now or a couple weeks ago all the way to the stage, not blowing up and then tearing down.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's something to like starting a prep in a good place means you don't have to do the hours on hours of cardio.
Yeah.
You don't have to go ridiculously low on the diet and the calories. So,
and in terms of like a good place, I feel like I needed the year off mentally. From that run of 4.5 years, I felt like I needed that year last year
up and down,
to where I wasn't stressing on the body, giving the joints time to heal, giving my internals time to just recover. Now I'm in a space where I am, to your point, hungry.
Yeah.
And I feel like an animal, like I want to go get it, like I want to get better.
And the good thing is, like, despite, all the stuff that, like, the way the path has gone so far, and, I keep saying it, but not being able to execute, some of the other guys, like Bumstead gets to just prep for one show every year. That's it, right? So everything goes into that. We're spreading out. We're doing a show at the beginning of the year, then we're trying to qualify for the Olympia, and then you have all these other demands. But it's going through that and learning. Everything's learning. You're learning, what can we improve on? What do we need to do next? And we know what works and what doesn't work, and now we just need to execute at the highest level.
Yeah.
And we know how to do it. We know how to do it, and that's why what's so great about this is having all this time and knowing, like, you're setting your sight. You're not setting what show you're going to do in 6 months. You're setting the show you're going to do next year.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this, which we're 2023 now. We were talking about this in 2022.
That's right.
About 2024.
That's right.
So we're mentally setting ourselves up to do that.
What's interesting too, I think, for those that are in bodybuilding and see that I'm running a business and doing some things to influence a whole nother industry, I think mentally coming into this year, I even from a work perspective, I wanted to make sure that we sat down and we came up with a plan a year and a half out. Like, I called a meeting and I was like, guys, I need the accountability. So, when people in the business world or the fitness world think that they don't need a coach, I think it's just crazy, because the highest level athletes in the world, the reason why I want a coach and I want to wake up at 5:30 every day is because I know it's going to make me better and it's going to hold me accountable. And I know if we do that for an X amount of time, it's impossible not to get better. And if we get better from where we were, then we're a top 10 physique in the world.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a fact that's going to happen.
And a coach also is about a mindset. Like, think of the mindset you were in just before us going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Like just
the Olympia. We talked about maybe I just never will do it again.
Like just before, and working and enjoying the lavish side of being successful at work.
Yeah.
And then this switched to us.
We were at the Olympia this year. We were there.
And that shift changed to us still in the same environment, still late, still out, still enjoying an after party for the Olympia, but we have a table to ourselves and we're talking bodybuilding. Like there's bottles, there's party, and it's just nothing but party.
And we had nobody but us.
But we have a 5x5 space of just bodybuilding, and that, honestly, that was my goal.
Yeah.
Like my goal, and I mentioned it before even going in.
Yeah.
I said my goal here is to transition Tony's mindset from I'm enjoying my life to I want to feel good.
Yeah. And it feels good to be an animal. And be strong. And be an athlete. And be a fucking killer.
And it's been just a couple weeks of this.
We've already put on 7-8 pounds in a sense. And I haven't put on fat in 2-3 weeks, and we haven't even started the true prep.
To that point, back with at the Olympia, because you mentioned to me, you were like, if I compete again, it'll be like 2024. I'm going to spend all next year kind of getting ready, blah, 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 but it's not like...
It was nothing serious.
It was nothing serious, so it's like, how serious is
it? It's almost like talking down on it a little bit. It'd be a while.
If I decide to compete again, I don't know, but I want to get my body kind of ready for it. But when you talk like that, you're not all in.
Yeah, you knew that.
You're not all in. So it was like, all right, but then since that Olympia and since the end of end of 2022, it's like you saw the switch. He's like, I'm spending all 2023. I'm getting ready. I want to build something that you've never seen before and all that. So it's like now there's a shift.
And now being 35, it's like you may only have you only have X amount of time in your life to be able to bring the greatest physique you've ever had while you walk this earth. And I'm in that realm. Being 35, this is peak for muscle maturity. And so I think about that. Like, I don't want to regret thinking in my 40s, like, man, when I was in my prime, I really could have given the work and went all in and become a top physique in the entire planet Earth. And that means something. And that leaves a mark in history.
Especially when you also have other goals in the industry, like whatever you might want, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But it's opening the door to other things, right? Being an established name, being a top competitor, having the business acumen.
And now we're going to promote shows, I'm already going to promote a show this year with Sean Ray.
Everything's about relationships and all the relationships you're building within this industry.
I'm going to be at that show.
You're going to be at that show, yes, sir. You're going to have competitors at that show in the classic physique lineup. Absolutely. I'm promoting the pro classic lineup. You're going to have competitors. That's right. Excited. That's pretty cool.
Well, then I'll just go to watch.
And maybe you talk about, because at the Hawaiian Classic, which is Sean Ray's show, I'm promoting the classic physique lineup, and I'm sponsoring the entire thing for that lineup, the prize money, and we're going to do a $10,000 award for the best poser, and maybe talk about that, because I think that's where Ray sparked me also in the sport, where I started to fall in love more with the artistry. It wasn't just building this muscle and being a jockhead. It was like, man, we are performers, we are artists, we are creators, and we can capture an audience. So maybe talk about your thoughts about having posing mean more in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. It becomes competence. Like, what makes everyone's physique so incredible on a high athletic playing field is the competence that individual has over themselves. Some people stumble over themselves. Some people can hurdle something astronomically high and catch a ball at the same time and then run for a touchdown. Like, when you see competence in real life, in real time, people get inspired by that. People can't take their eyes off that. And that's something, in my eyes, this sport has lost a little bit of. There are your handful of people who still display it beautifully, but as a whole, we've lost confidence in ourselves.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time in technology and in environments that aren't really conducive to us. And that's where bodybuilding, I feel, can be almost a religion to people, a way to keep their foundation going, a way to keep their confidence over oneself, and have the potential and the ability to display it in front of people. Because it's a whole nother realm. Because you have confidence, you have autonomous control of yourself.
Yeah.
But that was our deal, is once that realm of a little bit of anxious energy played into it, and it wasn't running into something, it was standing on stage in your underwear. Well, now stress got in there and anxiety crept up in, and it changed how you operated. And I was able to see that, and we were able to work on that together and continue to improve it each time, and it's still going to keep improving.
Yeah.
But it's being able to take yourself and not be stuck in here, and instead be out here and be able to be attached. I see these fans, I see these judges, and you can tell that I see you.
Yes.
I'm not blind in my own head. I don't have glassy eyes. I'm not nervous and shaking.
You're connecting with them eye to eye, soul to soul,
and
human to human.
And that is a huge part in who becomes your champion.
Yeah.
And that's something that you master on a day-to-day basis in such a realm that it has put you to an incredible place. And it took a little time for us to find that Tony.
In the bodybuilding space.
Yeah, and
yes,
and
it did.
Bring
that confidence that I have in business to the bodybuilding stage, where you're not feeling like all these eyes are on me.
Yeah.
Because the last show we did, the Olympia, I walked out there in prejudging, and it was the most calm,
dude. And that's all I've
ever been.
Everyone said Tony's eyes walking out there.
He was chilling.
He's like, he looks like he's in his element. He looks like he loves it. I was like,
yes, as a coach, yes. Yeah. So that's what I'm most excited is to build off that, because we weren't there yet maturity-wise, being our first rookie run at the Olympia, but I could say I was very happy with how we presented it and the tweaks that we made from the Arnold, and now to build off that and bring even a better physique with better posing, better confidence. I think we can walk into any show.
For sure.
Because it's one thing to just hit a pose or hit posing, right? It's one thing to just hit your bodybuilding poses or run through your routine. And somebody can be great at just hitting certain poses or hitting the routine, but it's a difference when you walk out and you make that connection.
Yeah.
You draw the crowd to you.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's different.
Yeah. You feel the energy.
And not everybody can
frequency.
do it. Yeah. Not everybody
can feel it in the room. It's like.
Yeah, that's in my eyes. That's the human condition aspect of it. We long to see what we are done well.
Yeah.
That's why our politicians are our politicians, our actors are our actors, our media people are our media people, because it's somebody doing what we do well, and then naturally we're drawn to it, we're stuck on it. So that's why people can put nonsense in our brains that we may not agree with, just because they have now rode over our subconscious. We are glued into what's going on with them. So when an athlete can do that, it's another level.
It's like a fighter. You take there's great fighters out there, but when one can get on the mic or one can, just be polarizing, just through their words. There's a lot of great fighters, and no one cares to watch them because they're not bringing anything else to the table. Then you got somebody that is polarizing, can speak and make people excited for what's to come, can tell you what they're going to do, and it happens.
Oh, hey, talk about that. I mean, most people don't know this. At the Dallas Europa that was right here, walking into it, we got second in my pro debut at Savannah. We got third at the New York Pro. And then we said, no, we got to make significant changes, which we did going into the Dallas Europa. And we were so confident walking into that show.
Those legs got fuller.
Oh, them legs were full. Oh, we were training hard.
Yeah.
And we actually booked a room at Nick and Sam's because we said we were going to win that show. And we went and we won it. That was an amazing feeling to call it and then do it for the first pro win.
Did that make people mad. He already booked a celebration, a dinner, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
That's the confidence.
Guess what? Yeah. You didn't book a room because you weren't confident you were about to win this.
Yeah.
We were.
It's and that's what I want to feel going into the next show, is a level of confidence where it doesn't matter who's standing there, that we're going to give anyone in the world a run for their money, because that's how amazing the physique is going to look.
And a journey that got us there that was incredible.
Yeah.
That improved well-being, that improved athleticism, that made you feel better.
Yeah.
That.
Not run down.
Exactly.
But Dallas was your best prep ever. I mean, that was the most prepared.
Yes.
That was, your training wasn't on. Your training was on point. You weren't traveling all the time.
Yeah,
you were able to get here with Ray. Almost 5 days a week at least.
Yeah,
but so now, what we've changed is, instead of me running around training on my own, now I'm training with Ray at 6:30 in the mornings, getting up every day, 5:15 here at Destination Dallas, 6:30 in the morning. So maybe talk about that, because this is the first time that I'm doing a major nutrition plan and training with you, going for a whole year span. So maybe talk about what your training method is and how we're going to do that over the next year and a half.
Yeah, you can see how our training method has constantly evolved with, one, my understanding of athletes in general, because it's more time with me working with more athletes and seeing more patterns throughout. But then also just me having more time with you and understanding, like, okay, this and this fashion helped us, but this, as great as it may be on paper, it didn't. And why is that? And truly taking the time to dissect why it didn't work well.
Yeah.
And maybe what I want to ask you is, how are you liking your training right now?
Oh, it's crazy. It's amazing because, I have a background where I used to coach trainers. Being a regional vice president with LA Fitness for many years, I had training clubs that I oversaw with tons of trainers. So I've dealt with a lot of trainers in my life, and I've seen all kinds of methods, but I love how we're just going in a motion that's very smooth for me. We're not worried about overextending, and and I feel like it's going to be very hard for me to get hurt the style that we're working.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a lot of progression in my body quickly.
Yeah, and you're able to take things to such high potentials.
Yeah.
Like you just said, you feel like you're not going to get hurt, yet you just hit the 135s for like 25. And put 2 plates on the presses over there for infinity.
It just
and
feels
another
strong.
Plate on, just strong.
Yeah.
Like you are moving. You are an athlete. You're using your body. You're not conforming to the machines out there. You're not manipulating yourself to conform to what we believe at this moment about muscles. Instead, you're keeping your autonomy, and we get to use this as a playground.
Yeah.
And what you said is, I love. Like, you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And I love it.
And to move weight, and I'm having them run between sets.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having
doing
them
some cardio.
carry shit around, push sleds.
Not normal stuff. Oh, that sled is going to get heavier and heavier. I already know this motherfucker. 3 weeks in, those stacks on that sled are growing. I'm like, where are we going to be in 3 months? Motherfucker's going to have me pushing 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. But like loving training is a big deal. Like so many athletes right now are in a place where they don't love training.
They hate coming to the gym like it's work. I don't want it to be work.
And there's like a lot of cookie cutter training, a lot of cookie cutter workouts, a lot of things, and that's where Ray separates himself. He's a little what's the word?
Unorthodox.
Unorthodox. That's the word. And then all the other stuff, Ray. Ray's just a whole different person.
Yeah.
He brings a totally different dynamic to the table than most trainers do.
Yeah.
And
you're almost more relaxed during a workout.
And very in tune.
Right? So some people are not aware, they're all over the place, distracted. I mean, it's like I'm very just in tune. It's like there's nobody else in the gym.
Exactly.
I'm very relaxed, and we're in our own world, and we're just having fun, growing muscle and developing and evolving as a human being on this planet.
And think today, this gym was packed. I didn't see anyone.
No, didn't either. No, we're just in the zone.
People take doing something that is a negative to their body, doing something that their body is not in line with. They're going to come in here and they're going to have anxiety with this many people. Like, I can't even train in this gym right now. But you come in here and you do what you love and you feel good.
It's interesting. 2 different mentalities. They walk into the same situation. One looks at it and they're just in the playground. The other looks at it and they're like, I can't train.
They're like, I got eyes on me while I'm in the playground. I love this.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to see me lift all the weights.
Yeah. Yep. It's a beautiful thing when we can make this thing fun. We can progress as a body and a physical specimen and make it fun with business at the same time. Yeah.
And it's cool walking here too. Again, you're like walking here, it's all these people, but this is part of like the journey. Like these people are about to see where you're going.
Yeah,
they're gonna see you every week. They're gonna see you.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be a shift. at some point this year.
There's going to be a shift
Where
6
there's
months from now where they're like, freak.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you getting ready for?
Yeah.
What's going on? And so it's cool to see that too and be in this atmosphere.